All right, let's go into layout space and insert our title block. So layout, let's verify our page. So in layout tab, page setup, modify, make sure you have your printer set up. The paper size is A4. We're printing the layout 1:1 scale, landscape. Set up your monochrome and your pen widths and go OK. All right, back to the Home tab and insert your title block. So grab the A4 one. There we go, A4. And I need to scale that. .05 was too much. 1.015. There we go. All right, so we have our title block. Click on the viewport border and set it to a 1:1 scale. And let's get our viewport border out of the way. And double click on the inside and pan your object. Look how huge that is. So definitely 1:1 scale is not going to work. Let's change it to 1:2. And notice how the balloons change size. Right, the balloons change size because they're annotative. And that's why we added the 1:2 size. All right, so let's pan this so that it fits. Let's move our isometric. Over to here. All right, and let's get out of the model space. All right, so we have our balloons, we have our assembly drawing kind of set up. Now the next thing is that we need to insert our parts list. All right, so to do the parts list, let's explode our title block. And let's offset this top line by 5 millimeters 7 times. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more time. All right, now we need to offset this vertical line by different values. So the first one is going to be 20. The second one's 40. Third one is 60. The next one is 115. And the last one's 142. All right, let's trim off what we don't need. All right, so this is our parts list. Parts lists are usually in the upper left or lower right. And we put our text on the dimension layer, and we start from 1 at the top going down if it's in the upper left, and if it's in the lower right, we start with 1 being at the bottom and going up. And I see some lines that made it through the object. All right, so let's start with labeling our columns. All right, so we're going to be using multi-line text, and then we're going to draw an enclosing box that covers the entire extent of that box here. There we go. And we're going to do a justification of middle, center, and find number. And then click off. And then do the same for the rest of the titles. So this one is quantity. So justification, middle, center, quantity. And then we have part number. And all the text should be capital on a drawing. I didn't quite get that. So that it doesn't get confused with numbers. Oh, and I didn't do my justification. But that's okay, you just highlight it and do the justification. And last, material. All right, so now we just fill in with part number 1. And I'll do part number 1. I won't do the rest. I'll show you what it looks like, the rest, but that would be kind of boring just to sit here and type in everything. So this, it's going to be middle left. All right, so part number 1. And we don't want it right exactly on the left, so we're going to use these little tab things, actually the top one, to get it to go over a little bit. There we go. So that's 1. And the next one, how many of part number 1 do we have? Well, we just have 1 of part number 1. So again, do the little tab thing. Oh, did I get that off? I must have gotten that off. Let me try that again. Justification, middle left. There we go. All right, part number. So part number and find number can be very similar, but they're not the same. The find number is what you see in the balloons. That's how you find the part. Part number is different. It could be a catalog number, and it could just be how you identify this type of part in your company. So in this case, the part number is 687, which is the drawing number in combination with the part number. So that's also very common, to have the part identified by what drawing it's on, plus the find number. So they're different. All right, so part name. is base. And material is 1020 steel. Okay, so that's the first line. The book has all the rest of the lines, so you can put all of those in. And notice that when it gets to the parts that are ordered, like you have the end bracket, which is made, the center bracket, which is made, but you have the hex head bolt, the flat head screw, and the hex nut. Those are ordered. You would order those. Those part numbers are different. They don't have the drawing number attached to it. Those are catalog numbers or product numbers. So that's where the difference comes in. All right, and then what's next would be to, of course, edit your title block. And the sheet number, that's an important thing. The assembly drawing is always number 1. That's the first drawing in your drawing package. And then how many sheets would there be? Well, you have the assembly drawing. You have the drawing of the base. You have the drawing of the end bracket. You have the drawing of the center plate. And then you have a standard part sheet. So there would be 5 drawings altogether in this packet. So it's sheet number 1 of 5. All right, and then the drawing number here would be 687. And no weight, no material, no finish, because it's an assembly of many parts. So those would all be blank. And you would put, the part name would be the assembly name. So this would be drill jig. All right, and that is the assembly. I'm gonna get into this. It looks like the LT scale kind of got messed up, so I'm gonna try to fix that. There we go. All right, so that's the assembly drawing, and that's how you make a parts list, how you do balloons, and everything required for an assembly drawing.